Hello there guys, and welcome back to Unleash the Beast in Minecraft. Today I want to show you a few more things with the Smeltery which I didn't have time to cover in the last video. I want to show you some of the basics you can do for Smeltery automation and also just correct a minor error from the last video. So I want to start off with a little error. Not much has changed here. I've dug some ground out around the side of the Smeltery and I'll show you why later. But in the last video when I was building the Smeltery, the upper levels, the 5 block by 5 block outer rings, I put the cornerstones in, and you don't actually need to put the corners in. I've had a few people message me to tell me that, and it was a mistake. You don't need them there. There isn't any harm in having them there. It's just a waste of materials, to be honest. Although, I would like to point out that there are potential reasons to have the blocks there in the corners, and I will show you why later on. So, a couple more changes. What I have done here is I have moved the drains and faucets up a level. Also then moved the casting table and the casting basin up a level, and then I've removed the ground that was below. And on this side I have added 3 more drains on the top level with 3 more faucets. Of course, when I did this originally, when I first built the Smeltery, it was only a single level, which is why all the drains went in at the bottom, but this makes them a little bit easier to access. So let's have a look at what else we can do to improve the Smeltery. Now, there are a couple of things we can do to improve the Smeltery if we use some seared bricks and some glass. If we take seared bricks and put 2 rows down either side, as if we were making a drain, but then down the middle put a row of glass, that gives us a seared window. I'm going to make 2 of those because my Smeltery is 2 blocks high, and put some more glass down the middle, and now we have 2 seared windows. What I'm also going to do is I am going to put 4 seared bricks in the corner and then fill the rest in with glass, and that will give you seared glass. Now I want to make another 2 of those, and I'll show you why shortly. So there we are. We now have 2 seared windows and 3 seared glass. Let's pop back out to the Smeltery. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pick and just chip away at this corner here. Now, one thing you'll notice when I do break through into the Smeltery is we do have some liquid in here. We have some molten iron. I'm going to take this block out here. Now, strangely enough, nothing leaks out, and this is because the block that controls the Smeltery is the Smeltery control block. Providing you don't actually destroy this block here, the Smeltery will remain and remember how much liquid it's got in it. Nothing will get out. If you destroy this block and then place it back down, the contents of the Smeltery will be reset. So the reason we've done that is we can now use these seared window blocks, and you can actually use these blocks for any of these outer blocks here. And now we actually have a window into the Smeltery. Without having to climb up onto the top, we can actually see how much liquid we have in there. So we've also got these 3 seared glass. Now they're more like seared tanks. And on this side you can see that I have 3 drains and 3 faucets. I'm going to place one of these tanks beneath each of the 3 drains. And then what I can do is if I click the faucet, it will then start to drain the liquid out of the Smeltery into this glass tank. I can then fill each tank with different liquids and use them as and when I need to. So if I have 3 more faucets, which I do, I also have a spare casting table, I can place faucets onto the 3 tanks, and then if I decided I wanted to make myself some iron ingots, I could place a casting table beneath the iron one, get my ingot cast, put the ingot cast on the table, click the faucet, and there you go, we have an iron ingot. And this is a great way because it means I can smelt down various different metals and store them all in different tanks until I need them. So let's go and have a look at starting the process of automation. Now, one of the great ways to automate the Smeltery is using a hopper. Hoppers are very easy to build. You need a standard chest in the centre, and you're going to need 5 iron ingots, and you put them in what is essentially a sort of Y shape or V shape, and that will give you a hopper. I'm going to make 3 of those in total because I want to do a couple of different things to show you. So we now have 3 hoppers. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to place one of the hoppers on the front of the controller, just by shift and right clicking. It does make it a little more difficult to get at the controller, but this is a great method of automation. What you can do with the item hopper, it has 5 different slots for 5 different stacks of ingredients. If I put some ingredients in the hopper, they will be automatically taken out of the hopper and fed into the smeltery. We can see them through the window. What we could also do to increase that storage capacity is actually place a chest above the hopper, and then we could place our materials inside the chest, and those materials would then automatically be sucked out of the chest and placed inside the smeltery. So we can use the hopper to take things from a chest or place them directly into the smeltery and then feed them straight into the smeltery controller. The second reason we want to use a hopper is when we actually create ingots or blocks. If I go over here and we'll just right click because we already have some liquid, we will get a iron ingot. Now, as you can see, there it is. Nothing happens to it. I have to right click on it to do anything. If I take a hopper and place it below the casting table, and then I click on the faucet, we will get an iron ingot, and as soon as the ingot solidifies, it disappears and goes down here into the hopper, and it can hold 5 stacks. So this is a great way to make iron ingots. We could do exactly the same thing on this side if we wanted to make ourselves some iron blocks. Should be enough liquid iron in the tank to do that. And it looks like we have a full block there, and it solidifies and goes into the hopper. Now, I did mention at the start of the video that there is actually a good reason for having seared bricks in the corners of the smeltery. Now, it doesn't actually have to be seared bricks, it can be any block, but seared bricks makes more sense because it matches the rest of the smeltery. The reason for that is faucets actually respond to a redstone signal, which means you can use a button or a lever to activate them. Now, you can't put the button or lever on the block above them, it has to be at the side of them. So if you have faucets like this, I could either put the button or lever here in the centre, which would be silly because it would work both faucets at the same time, or put it to the side. So in order to put it to the side, I'd need to have a block in this corner, which would then allow me to put buttons or levers on the side of this block and work these 2 faucets here. So it's not such a bad thing having seared bricks in the corner. Now, if you're using a redstone signal to activate something over a casting basin, whether it be a button or a lever, we'll put them at the side. The problem you have is when you pull the lever or press the button, you only get a short redstone tick, and it will only put a small amount of liquid into the casting basin. As you can see, there's still plenty left in the smeltery. So pull the lever again, up and down, we get a small amount, up and down, small amount, up and down, small amount. So you'd have to keep hitting the lever. It would be exactly the same if we were using a button. So we just put the button on, press the button, small amount of iron, press the button again, small amount of iron, press the button again, and so on and so forth until we eventually fill the casting basin. Now, one useful thing you can do, particularly if you want to make yourself a lot of ingots, is to make yourself a redstone clock. And they're quite easy to make, so let's go and build one of those now. All you're going to need for that is 4 smooth stone in the corners. So if you've only got cobblestone, you will need to put it into a furnace just to turn it into stone. 4 redstone and a redstone torch in the middle. Got the order wrong again, as usual. We will get that right. There we go. And we now have ourselves a redstone clock. Now, a redstone clock puts out a pulse at a steady interval. So if I go over to this side, and I'm going to put another one of those seared bricks down in this corner, we can still see into the smeltery, which is great. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this redstone clock here on this block. And as you can see, it's now pouring. We get an ingot. The ingot instantly gets taken out and goes into the hopper, which is why it looks like we're constantly pouring into liquid, because as soon as that ingot solidifies, it goes down here into the hopper. And as you can see, the hopper is filling up. So we now have automation. we can take our iron ore and dump it in here into the chest at the top. That will automatically go into the smeltery and get smelted. And then this redstone clock will automatically tell this faucet to pump into our casting table, which will then be pulled out and go into the item hopper below. Okay then guys, I've cleared the smeltery of all the iron, and I'm going to show you one of the other nice things you can make with the smeltery. And I'm going to start by dumping a lot of sand in there. And what we're going to be making is we're going to be making some clear glass. Now, if you remember on my last series, on my How to Feed the Beast series, because I was using the Sphax texture pack as I am here, but also with the Optifine mod, the Optifine mod allowed me to enable joined textures, which meant that things like glass and windows didn't have all the individual bars in between and just looked like one solid pane of glass. Well, unfortunately, Optifine doesn't really work with Unleashed, but we do have a way around that in the form of liquid glass. So we're going to wait for this sand to melt down. And then what we want to do with the liquid glass is pour it into our casting basin. So we'll just give it a few minutes to melt. Okay, there we go. It does take a while, but we are starting to get molten glass in the smeltery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the redstone clock down next to the faucet for the casting basin. And that will automatically pour the molten glass into the casting basin. And then when that's full and that solidifies, it should take it out and go into the hopper below, which already has 4 blocks of iron. We'll leave those in there until we need them. So there's the first block of clear glass, and we're just going to leave that to do its thing and get as many blocks as I can from the sand that I shoved in there earlier. Okay guys, well it does take quite a while, but we now have 6 blocks of clear glass, so let's go and try this out. We're going to go up to this window, give it a good old smash with our pick, because we don't need it anymore. And then we're going to take our clear glass. And as you can see, if you pop in a single square, it has a border frame around the edge. But if I put 2 pieces next to each other, it has a connected texture, and you can no longer see the join in between. If I fill this entire window frame in, and there you go, we now have clear glass. Just as good as regular glass, but we have gotten rid of that nasty window frame. And the nice clean sort of metallic frame does look quite a bit better than the old wooden one. So there you go, you now know how to make clear glass. I'm going to make some more and replace all of the windows in the workshop. So guys, thanks once again for watching. I hope now you understand a little bit more about the smeltery and the way it works, and also now you have the basics for automation, so you can just throw your materials in and have it pump out the ingots or blocks that you need. In the next video we will actually be looking deeper into the Tinker's Construct mod at some of the weapons and tools we can make. So thanks again for watching. I hope you found this video informative and entertaining. If you have, please remember to like, share and subscribe, because it's you guys that help the channel grow. And remember, you can follow me on social media on Twitter and Facebook, and the links are both below the video in the description. So until next time, I've been Unstable Voltage, this has been Unleash the Beast, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.